The Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs starts now.
Another big collection agency in the news. Unfortunately, not in the news in a good way. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And this happened a while ago. This goes back to March. But portfolio recovery. Now, if you've got a lot of collections, or if you've had collections in the past in your credit, portfolio may be a name that rings a bell. But there's been a whole lot of information. You know, this goes back to the schemes that people come up with that we see on social media. The credit hustlers, as I say, they're out there. Portfolio got themselves in trouble with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And I'll get the details to you in a second here on it. But the credit hustlers are out there saying if you've got a collection with portfolio, you can now use this opportunity with them getting themselves into trouble to get anything that you have with portfolio off of your credit report. And that, of course, is not true. It's just false. Here's what happened. Back in March, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau initiated a legal proceeding against them, and the final settlement agreement, it's all kind of happened over a series of months and years, by the way. This actually goes back to 2015. But this settlement wrapped up in the spring. Court approved this thing in April. Back in 2015, they issued an order against portfolio due to their violations of the Consumer Financial Protection Act of 2010 and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, another thing that you will hear me talk about on this program. The Bureau said that portfolio was violating these orders. Allegations include that portfolio misrepresented debt amounts or validity of the debts, collecting debts without providing necessary documentation to consumers, falsely promising to deliver documents within 30 days, collecting on debts, by the way, that were time-barred debts at times without required disclosures. You know, those disclosures tell you as a consumer that you can't be sued or they can't credit report on you. And those are things that will assist you in making the decision on whether or not you pay something in many cases. They also initiated debt collection lawsuits without the proper documentation, and they sued people on debts that were time-barred, meaning, you know, they can sue in most cases up to about 6 years, up to about the 6-year mark. Well, portfolio turned around and sued people after that mark, as it turned out. They also claim that portfolio apparently failed to resolve disputes. Their responses in many cases were inadequate. There were disputes that were filed that seemed or they deemed frivolous, and they didn't respond. They're insufficient, easy for you to say, insufficient investigations of consumer disputes and inadequate policies and procedures. All that stuff goes hand in hand with what happened to them and the slap they got for all this. The Bureau, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, estimated that portfolios associates and their illegal actions resulted in the collections of millions of dollars in debts and impacted tens of thousands of consumers on credit reports. So what happened here in terms of the settlement, the dollars and cents of it, they're going to have to pay a little over $12 million in restitution and another $12 in civil penalty money. So it's about $25 million, just under $25 million. And this, by the way, includes a comprehensive injunctive relief measure aimed at preventing portfolio from future violations of the law. So good news for consumers on that, but do not take the advice of the credit hustlers and use this as an opportunity if you've got something with portfolio to say, oh, this is, part of this lawsuit, and, et cetera, et cetera. You know where I'm going with that.
You've been listening to the Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs. If you need assistance with your credit, text CREDIT to 702-778-2000.